In this lesson, we will duplicate this picture of Clayton, and then we will crop, and then we will crop to add space around the picture, as in a frame, and then, new for us, will be to add a text layer to that cropped area. So what we're going to do is place a caption underneath Clayton. So step number one, you have your image open, and then once again, always make sure that you duplicate that image. Image, duplicate. Put away the original. Let's go ahead and do our first crop. Remember, the shortcut is the letter C. And we're going to maintain a landscaped image. Accept that crop. And there we go. Next step, we're going to crop again, but this time we want to first go and set our background color. And so I'm going to pick a color, something that's inside of this image here. And so I think I'll go ahead and choose maybe the darker portion of his sweatshirt. And then we are going to crop again, but this time I'm just going to bring down this bottom handle and create some extra space underneath our image. Just like that. And then I will click the check mark to accept that change, and now I am ready to add a text layer. Step number one for the text layer. Well, let's take a look over here first. At this point, our picture is just one image. It's a background layer. And so, much like you would build a sandwich by adding bread, cheese, and meat, we are going to build our picture a layer at a time. And so the first one being to add a text layer. And so the way that works is just like this. Come over to your toolbar and look for the letter T. And the shortcut for the text tool, fortunately, is easy to remember. It is the letter, yes, you guessed it, the letter T. Now, once I click that T, it is ready, and you will notice that some items changed up here on this taskbar. And so it has the font size, which can be adjusted, and I am going to adjust that right now to at least 72 because this is a pretty large image. If we use a 12-point font, it's going to be really tiny. You go ahead and try it, get some experience with that. And then you can set the font type, and then you can also choose the type of font that you would like for your text. This can always be adjusted later, so I'm just going to leave it where it is. And once I click, you'll notice I have like an Ibar here, a vertical bar. And as soon as I click, you'll notice that a layer popped up right over here with the letter T. And that designates that we now have a text layer. And so it's waiting for me to do something, and it's waiting for some text. So I'm going to type Clayton. Now, once I've put in my basic text, there's a couple different things you can do, but we'll keep it real simple for this lesson. I'm going to come back up here and click on the Move tool. I'm going to make sure that I'm selected here. And the last thing I need to do is make sure that Show Transform Controls is selected. Because you'll notice down here that I don't have any indication that I am on that layer. Now, it's very important. If you want to work on this text in this layer, you have to be selected here. If you're selected on the background layer, you will not be able to achieve any changes to this layer. You would be working on this layer, the picture of Clayton. But because I want to work on the text, I'm going to move the text, and I'm going to change the color of the text, and I'm going to make the text a different size. So make sure you're selected on that layer. Make sure that you select Show Transform Controls. And now you will see that we have some transform handles, or controls as Photoshop refers to them, that we can do some adjustments. A couple ways to use these. We can grab a middle one and stretch our text. We can grab a corner and make our text taller and wider at the same time. You can freeform that. The other way to do it is, while you're grabbing one of those handles on the corners, is to hold the Shift key down and grab the handle, and it will maintain the same proportions of left to right or height to width much like we did when we cropped to a particular size like 8 by 10, and it kept the ratio of height to width exactly the same, maintain the same proportions. So I'm going to go ahead and just estimate how I want that, place that about right there. And once you get where you want it, once again you have to accept the changes by clicking the check mark. If you don't want the changes, click the not sign, and otherwise this has to do with going through some different modes here, but we'll just stick with these two here. Accept, not accept. So I'll go ahead and accept it, and there's my text layer. So, quick review. We've brought up an image of Clayton. We cropped the image. We cropped it a second time to add some space below the picture so that we could place a caption. And we selected the color of that caption area or that extended frame by choosing the background and using the eyedropper to grab some color from his sweatshirt. And then we went to the text tool, shortcut letter T, clicked the location where we wanted to place that text layer. We noted that the text layer popped up over here in our layer window. And then we made sure that we had selected transform controls to resize our text. So next, we want to change the color of our text. So here's what we need to do. Click on the text tool or press the letter T. Now notice, if I were to click here or anywhere else except over this area here, it would insert a new layer. I will show you. It's a common mistake. If I thought that I was close to the text and I clicked, then it's showing layer number 1, which is not what I want. I do not want another text layer. So I'm going to undo that. And what I do want to do, in fact I'm going to go ahead and delete that layer, is notice that when I point to the existing layer that the Ibar changes from, see, this has a box around it, but when I point it right over where it needs to be, it turns just to a straight Ibar, and then I can click and hold and select my text. Now I can come up, and this is where I can make some changes. I can change my font type. Let's see what we can pick here. I'll pick some standard Adobe font. How about, let's take a Californian. We'll do that. Now I can change the color. And so I'm going to pick the color of this pen that's in the picture. Let's see if it finds that. Make it a little bit darker. And so I have my color selected. I've clicked the check mark to accept the change. And then I'm ready to add some other effects. So let's go through it again. Click the letter T. For text, make sure that we have that vertical Ibar without a box around it. Select the text. Come up to color. Select a color. Or you could pick something from the image. There's the blue of the desk, the blue of the pen, background, skin. Well, let's do that. I'll match his skin for this one. It's got a little bit of a pinkish hue to it there. I will click OK. Accept the change. And there we go. Next up, I want to put a little special effect on this text to make it a little more readable. And so I think I'll do a little stroke around that. And so I'm going to go to my Move tool, which is the shortcut is the letter V. And there it is selected. And you will notice down here on the bottom, look for FX. That's for effects. And we can add some style here. And so let me move this out of the way. Click Effects, and I'm going to choose Stroke, and it defaults to a 3-point size. I'm going to increase that just a little bit. We'll take that to 6, and you'll notice there's some other effects that you can work with here, and I'm going to let you experiment with those and come up with some that you like, but I'm going to stick with just a basic stroke for this example. And I'm going to click OK, and I can click anywhere else to deselect that picture, and there we go. So we've got our image, some added space below with a nice gray color, and we've put in Clayton, skin tone, little black stroke around it, and that is how you add a text layer. Now, text layers can be added anywhere within your image, but we're just practicing with this right now. But you feel free to finish some of these, save them, experiment with some of the different styles and effects, and see what you come up with. And I will be coming around the room to help you out with that and take a look at your work. Once again, thank you for watching and have a good time.